I love Vince. Vince is not the problem, guys. I love Vince. Just trust me on that. He's not the problem.
When did you feel like you and Paul were kind of being groomed as to take a bigger load and potentially run this whole thing?
Vince McMahon's iron grip on WWE began to slip in early 2022. The turning point came in a courtroom. To defend themselves, WWE had to admit a painful truth.
In January, this is MLW suing WWE because they allege that WWE interfered with a Tubi deal. Tubi, which is owned by Fox, allegedly Stephanie McMahon did something to pressure Tubi to terminate the deal. This past week, WWE responded, as expected, with a motion to dismiss the case.
But WWE, for the first time this week, acknowledged that AEW has, in fact, been a success.
MLW has given up competing in the ring and has chosen instead to compete in the courtroom.
The WWE, or at least in this document, whoa, they're doing well. Why can't you do well, MLW?
The complaint alleges that WWE's popularity has declined over the last 5 years. It goes on to say that during the same period, AEW entered the proposed market and successfully sold broadcast rights to Warner Media. Subsequently, AEW managed to capture an average 2020 rating of 0.344 compared to WWE Raw's 0.5075 in the key 18 to 49 demographic. This successful entry and expansion refutes the existence of substantial barriers to entry. They cited the demo.
Hey, look, there's ample competition in this wrestling world. There's AEW, which has had success. WWE mentions that in the demo, 1849, Dynamite and Raw are pretty close.
You know, when you have these ratings wars every Thursday afternoon that erupt on social media, I don't even talk about it anymore because it's just so toxic, but I love that they brought up the demo in this filing. And the exhibit, this is even better.
Have you seen what is an exhibit to this complaint, or have you heard it as an exhibit to this complaint?
That WWE included in their motion to the court was the October 18, 2021 issue of
Wrestling Observer Newsletter is an exhibit to this complaint.
The Wrestling Observer Newsletter.
It basically means it's an attachment at the, or not this complaint, the exhibit to this motion to dismiss.
WWE is using the Observer as evidence in court.
What happened in that same week,
covering the time that WWE lost,
which was the head-to-head battle between Rampage and SmackDown.
So basically, they're citing how successful AEW has been, including the creation of Rampage.
AEW just introduced a second program.
A recent purchase of Ring of Honor.
It's also mentioned to say, hey, look, it's not like other companies are even struggling to have output.
As examples of why WWE is not a monopoly and why MLW's claims have no merit.
AEW hadn't only survived, but thrived, siphoning off WWE's audience backed by data from the Wrestling Observer, a source Vince and Triple H had long mocked. Triple H's inability to counter AEW's rise with NXT and Stephanie's struggles to secure sponsorships left Vince McMahon questioning their loyalty. Imagine the weight of the disappointment, the sting of seeing your legacy threatened by those you trusted most. But this was the prelude to a darker chapter. As tensions mounted, a betrayal was brewing. Someone close to Vince was about to do something that would expose his secret life, threatening to destroy everything he had built. Who would dare to commit such treachery? Was it a family member disillusioned by years of pressure, or a rival executive with eyes on the throne? The year kicked off with Triple H, once the creative mastermind behind WWE's NXT, slowly returning to work in January. But this wasn't the triumphant comeback fans expected. Instead of leading, he was sidelined, tasked with recruiting for WWE's newest developmental project, the NIL, or Next in Line program. NXT, his brainchild, was shifting under Shawn Michaels and Matt Bloom, following strict new rules set by Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard.
Okay, Daddy, I know.
WWE kept Triple H's health under wraps until one morning in March when he sat down with Stephen A. Smith on ESPN.
You're supposed to have had a health issue, but you're sitting in front of me looking better than me.
In a raw, unguarded moment, he opened up about his cardiac event, revealing the toll it had taken.
Is this it? You know, do you wake up for this?
It wasn't just a wrestling story, it was a human one.
I think it's just put things in perspective.
A glimpse into the vulnerability of the game.
What are you going to be doing in the wrestling world as an executive?
And unfortunately, there's more vulnerability to come.
But right now, I'm back. I'm at the office. I am fully focused on recruiting and development of our talent in the future. That's the biggest focus for me. And as we move forward from there, it's making sure that WWE is a success for generations to come.
Speaking of Vince, he wasn't just pulling strings backstage. He was back on WWE TV, playing a recurring role as Austin Theory's mentor. Vince saw big things in the young star and took a hands-on approach to this development. That decision led to his first in-depth interview in a decade, sitting across from Pat McAfee in early 2022. Watching it now, nearly 3 years later, his words hit differently.
See, there's a show Secession. People are like, oh, this is probably what's happening behind the scenes. Right. When do you think that started? And were you pissed that that conversation even happened? And is that something you even think about?
If you want this so bad, stick the dagger right here, because that's what you're going to have to do to make that decision.
No, I don't think about it a lot. Hopefully, if you built something, hopefully you want it to continue on, and prosper and grow, whether that's with a family member or without a family member.
On Succession, Vince insisted it all came down to his ability to contribute. Zero plans of retiring. He boasted he was harder on his kids than any employee.
My dad told me that I had failed him.
Nick Khan would offer more insight in an interview with Colin Cowherd.
I would imagine he's been offered multiple times to sell this. He doesn't need the money. It is a often turbulent 24/7, 365 lifestyle.
I think if there's been tumult in someone's childhood, if you can get through it with no safety net. So I think he has no interest in selling, number one, because he's built it. Number two, because he's still the best person to run it. And number three, what's he going to do?
And if you don't stick the dagger right here, then I know you're not man enough to do it. And I have to take that into consideration as well.
Stephanie, have the knife.
You don't rule out Shane or Stephanie, but it was my understanding that Hunter was supposed to be the individual. I don't know. That's the upper level stuff that I couldn't even imagine.
Setting the stage for the chaos to come.
Or you can buy me out the way I bought out my father. And if I don't get out of your way, be prepared to get rid of me the way I would have had to get rid of my father when he wasn't doing things my way at all.
And to think that I had failed him was something I took so emotionally. And, and it was a very, very hard, painful lesson, especially because he's my father, not just my boss.
On March 30th, 2022, the WWE board received an anonymous email that was about to send shockwaves through the wrestling world. This wasn't just any message. It was a bombshell, one that would rattle key board members like Triple H, Stephanie, and Nick Khan. But here's the question that still haunts insiders. Did this email truly catch them off guard?
Everyone has to understand their place. And when a family member thinks, wait a minute, I've got this, they don't quite have the vision
that I have.
It's someone who's grown and created a business. They have a different vision. And it may have worked, but you know what? We're going to go with my vision.
If it's true that either Stephanie and or Triple H knew that there were issues that could tank the company, but did what they thought best to protect the company, even if that include exposing something.
Vince McMahon is certainly not bigger than what we do.
With WrestleMania just a week away, the spotlight shifted to what WWE billed as the most stupendous event in history. Triple H, once the mastermind of WWE's creative future, stepped into the ring one last time, leaving his boots behind and retiring for good. It was a bittersweet farewell, tinged with irony. Since he started dating Vince McMahon's daughter back in 1999, the game hadn't seen his influence shrink. No one knew what lay ahead for him, and the uncertainty cast a long shadow.
By the way, did you see The Rock's tweet about Triple H and his retirement?
I did not see that.
No, because there wasn't one. Anyway.
Yet despite the backstage chaos, WrestleMania 38 soared. After months of sluggish ticket sales, WWE pulled off a miracle. They brought Stone Cold Steve Austin out of retirement, unleashing him in his home state of Texas to a crowd that nearly tore the roof off. Then came the real shocker. Cody Rhodes returned.
They did not change the music. They didn't change the guy's robe. They kept his elevator entrance, dude. I couldn't believe it.
After years of losing ground to AEW in ratings and fan perception, WWE scored a massive win by bringing back the founding father of the rival promotion.
I told Vince McMahon, Bruce Prichard, and Nick Khan, this very small circle of individuals, I told them what I truly believe, and it's that I'm the best wrestler in the world.
Cody's comeback wasn't just a moment. It was a symbol of hope, a sign that WWE might finally be reclaiming its creative edge.
Vince McMahon gave him a presentation like he was a main eventer. Do you see yourself ever leaving the WWE?
Try to do when I'm making decisions. I try to make it real, like as if I've made that decision, and I feel regret and I feel lost. And those aren't the feelings that I want to have.
But as I already said, 2022 was a controversial year.
But the big question is, where is Stephanie McMahon Levesque going?
and we've only scratched the surface.
That was the question many people had after maybe the most noteworthy tweet from a WWE individual this year.
A few months later, Stephanie dropped a bombshell of her own.
Maybe it will mean nothing. Maybe this is just temporary. She comes back.
Announcing completely out of nowhere that she was taking
a leave of absence here doesn't align with what I imagine of a McMahon family member in terms of the reputation of these are people who work tirelessly all the time.
But a McMahon stepping away?
How did you end up with the same work ethic? Is that DNA?
I know I don't like sitting around doing nothing. It aggravates me to not be accomplishing something.
To Vince, that might have reeked of weakness.
We know that Triple H is no longer overseeing NXT in Orlando. NXT has clearly been revamped. His vision of what NXT was is no longer the vision for NXT.
What's your official title again?
Senior Vice President, Global Talent Strategy and Development.
Let's talk a little bit about this tryout, because I was here a year ago. Incredibly different as far as the talent that you're seeing and
the look, the size.
And there seemed to have been political forces that were, working to completely rehaul NXT. Is that related to this? I have no idea.
Fans, though, understood her need for a break and took her at her word.
Number one is the fact that Nick Khan, who I would imagine already has a pretty sizable plate of responsibilities, is now going to be, at least in the interim, taking on more. And this is, the advertising and sponsorship area of the company. That has really been Stephanie's area, and one that they have earmarked for big growth over the next several years.
Little did they know the full story was far more tangled than it seemed.
Is WWE even going to be handed down to another McMahon family member after Vince? This makes me less confident.
But weeks later, the tide turned. A WWE insider dropped a bombshell, leaking Stephanie McMahon's burial to Sports Business Journal.
Like, I could never bury my child, to the media. Well, I mean, you look at his relationship with Shane. Is it that surprising? I mean, I don't think I ever saw an article saying that Shane is incompetent at his job, and it came from WWE directly, Yeah. Obviously, we heard what happened at Royal Rumble, but that was like the first time I saw something negative like that come about the McMahons.
A credible outlet that hadn't touched WWE much before. Was this the sign of a new shadowy connection? The article source straight from the insider revealed the truth. Stephanie hadn't just stepped away. She'd been forced out by Vince. Her crime? Failing to hit this ambitious $100 million sponsorship target, a goal inspired by UFC's playbook. Could this hint at a merger with Endeavor lurking on the horizon? In a flash, another McMahon was publicly sidelined by Vince, mirroring Shane's fate months earlier. The pieces even dug up a damning quote from Vince's Pat McAfee show interview.
You have to be objective and look at family members, whoever it is, just like you would other employees. And quite frankly, I probably have expected more out of my family members, which is probably not the right thing. But we really
that's going to be a big deal right there, what you just said.
A brutal irony. 3 weeks later, the plot thickened.
Vince McMahon stepping back temporarily from his leadership roles within the company. This comes after the Wall Street Journal reported the board of directors is investigating alleged hush money payments he made to a former employee.
The Wall Street Journal unleashed its explosive report on Vince McMahon, and his response?
In typical brash McMahon fashion, he's not going quietly. The WWE reports he'll appear tonight live on SmackDown in character.
Boldly advertised his appearance on that night's SmackDown. Critics and fans alike wondered, wouldn't he fear the crowd turning on him? Before the show even began, fans were chanting his name. He strutted out, kicked off the night, and recited WWE's mission statement. Then, now, forever.
And the most important word is together.
It was a defiant FU to his detractors.
The special committee has appointed Vince's daughter, Stephanie McMahon, as the interim CEO and chairwoman of the WWE in the meantime.
But WWE reports McMahon will maintain control of the company's creative storylines while under investigation.
A loud reminder that his loyal legion of fans would keep him atop that pedestal, scandal or not.
What we get from the Wall Street Journal article is that an anonymous email was first received by the board of directors on March 30th. Sometime in April, they started their investigation. May 19th, Stephanie McMahon announces that she's taking a leave of absence following beginning the following day. Then June 3rd, the Business Insider article comes out saying that Vince removed Stephanie because of performance issues. So, I mean, that leaves a lot of questions about, here's another big question that I would have is,
George says, any possibility Stephanie's move is related to this?
Did Stephanie know? Stephanie's still a member of the board of directors.
I do not want to speak for her at all, but it'd be hard for me to believe.
So
I'd go further and
that she didn't know about this.
And ask, how could she not have known?
It's very clear that somebody who is very close to this situation wanted this news out there.
No storyline could ever come close to what happens in real life. As the storylines are in WWE, I do think real life can play out in a much bigger, more dramatic fashion.